Okay. All right. So I'm assuming we're still on live then, right?
Yes, you're fine.
Okay. So my apologies for anybody. We're trying to make sure we get some of the bugs out of the system right now. So I'm talking to my producer right now. So we're able to take a look at what's happening with this storm right now. I'm freezing it on the last frame. It's knocking on the door, the folks that are in the Georgetown area right now. It's literally about a breath away from you at this present time. As far as how intense this storm is, we're taking a look at this from a 3D slice real quick to kind of see just how much of a system we're talking about right here. It's reaching up to 30,000, 40,000 right now. And it's indicating for us right now with this level right here, 30,000, that we're talking about a significant rainmaker right now that's more than likely to cause more complications as it pertains to possible flooding in our immediate area. That being the case, here's the latest look at that particular cell as it's pushing through Seaford. We want to begin to track what's happening with this. Now, this has turned into more of a squall line concern here, so we're not going to track just one particular cell. We're going to track the entire line. It's moving towards the northeast at approximately 40 miles per hour. So right now, as we take a look at the latest tracking, right now the time is 9:10. We're looking at this wall of severe weather and severe thunderstorm pushing through the Georgetown area by 9:18. Following that, the folks in Millsboro should anticipate that it will be becoming a problem for them by about 9:29, just before 9:30. 10 minutes after that, then the folks in Lewis need to brace for this storm as it begins to push through. Now, thus far, it has a history of at least 60-mile-per-hour winds associated with this. So this is a very intense cell as it's pushing through. As I erase this out of the way here, you'll be able to see, or just see how fast this is gravitating and moving throughout the system. Watch as I put this into motion for you. And you see that general motion, that movement that's taking off in this direction right here, moving towards the northeast at approximately 40 miles per hour. Now, as far as the girth of the storm and just how significant it is as far as the territory that it's covering right now, I can take an honest measurement right now, and this is affecting approximately at least a 30 to 35 mile swath of territory. So this is covering the entire county of Sussex as this begins to push through very rapidly in our purview thus far. As I put this into motion, a couple of things to keep in mind. We're expecting for this to be a significant dense lightning will be associated with this. Now I'm going to put on the lightning for right now. Okay, now you see the movement of the lightning right there? That's indicating that we're looking at significant problems with the possibility of power outages throughout Seaford along Laurel. It's covering it up so much I'm going to take the lightning off because it's hard to even distinguish what's going on with this system. The folks that are in Georgetown right now, for the folks that are primarily Spanish speaking folks, we have more information available on our Facebook page for Telemundo 42. Para información en vivo ahora mismo, solamente en español, visita la página de Facebook de Telemundo 42 ahora mismo. Right now we have that available for you on Telemundo 42 because it's now about to literally walk through downtown Georgetown. At this point, we are talking about a severe thunderstorm. We are looking at, for example, the last aspect that we had on this storm. It's have 60-mile-per-hour winds. As of 9/11, it was located near Bridgeville or near Georgetown. It's moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. We are expecting damage to roofs, siding, trees, and power line. All of that is possible. Now, the areas that are going to be impacted by this storm not only include the Georgetown area, but as I erase this and put this more so in perspective here, watch what happens when we begin to dig into the details of this alignment. So this is the center of the storm. Oh, wait a minute. We have a tornado warning right now. We have a tornado warning right now. We are going to change over to our live camera. We need to go live right now, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and change from this to our live coverage. Let's change gears right now. We need to go ahead and cut into the forecast right now. Right now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams. We now have a tornado warning that has been issued for the Sussex County area. Right now, we have this tornado that's beginning to approach the folks of the Georgetown area. This tornado warning is going to stay in effect for the next 30 minutes. Once again, a tornado warning has now been issued by the National Weather Service. This is along Highway 9. This is the cell that we have the greatest concern for at this present time as it begins to push throughout our region. I'm going to let you take a live look at this, a more full purview of what's happening with this warning. I'm digging into this a little more detail here. This present time. Now, this warning is indicating we have a possible tornado with possible rotation indicated by the National Weather Service. It's moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. What's happening is this. This is the cell that I'm concerned with right here. This cell right here. This is the one that we've been monitoring on our app. Now it has presented a significant problem and threat. We need for you to take cover from this cell. It's moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. The latest timing on this at this present time, it's going to begin to move in this direction. So you follow the purple lining right here. And this is going to begin to push through the Georgetown area. Okay, now for the folks that are in Georgetown, I realize that we have a bilingual audience in Georgetown right now. I need to let them know something just in case they're not looking at our Facebook page. Ahora mismo tenemos un aviso de tornada. Tornada, no tormenta, no solamente tormenta, es tornado ahora mismo, mueve noreste 35 millas por hora. I am saying we have a tornado warning right now. It is moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. We've already had a history of some hail that's being formed from this same system, and this entire alignment of storms has already prompted a tornado warning well to the northern portions of the state. But now this is where it is at this present time in the Georgetown and the Milton area. What I'm going to start doing, we're going to take a forensic look at this storm, continuing to track its movement. But for the folks that are in Milton, it's going to hit Milton at 9:31. I need you to seek shelter away from windows, center part of your home immediately. This is a serious storm and a serious threat to life and property. In Lewis, this is going to hit Lewis at about 9:47 with the latest tracking that we have right now. And then it'll begin to move across Cape May at 10:10. As we continue to take a look at this storm, I'm going to dig into some of the particulars of this system so we can analyze where we are as far as how this is beginning to push through. I'm going to our velocity scope to see if we can pick up on the circulation of this storm as we get a little bit closer here. We're not seeing much in the way of circulation with that particular view, but I'm looking at my correlation coefficient here. And this is a different view here. This is actually trying to show me if we have any flying debris associated with this. Wait a minute, I do see something. I do see something right here. Okay, we could see something right close to the Milton area right now. It's getting a little bit closer to Milton. Right in this area, we could possibly be seeing just a little bit of debris that's flying associated with this storm as it's pushing through. It's part of a much bigger system that's beginning to knife its way through our immediate area. And this tornado warning is active for us. As we put this into motion here, we can see that it is tracking towards the northeast very steadily right now. This is a tornado warning. Once again, just so you'll understand, with a tornado warning, we are concerned about not only flying debris, we are not only concerned about the power outages, but we're talking about an impactful storm that's been at least focused upon courtesy of Doppler radar indications, and this is going to stay active for us at least until 9:45 with this tornado warning. So the folks that are in Georgetown, you are under immediate threat with this storm system. It's now making its way really right along Highway 9, and we're starting to see the center of the cell curving a little bit more towards the north, even though we have the area of concern right over Georgetown, Milton, Harbison, Gosling Mills, and Lewis. But we're looking at this cell that's taking a turn that's different than let's say the polygon that's indicated from this. So I'm going to do something on the fly here because we need to know exactly where this is going, okay? So pardon me if you will, we're going to begin to track this thing live right here on the spot so you can see what's going on with it. So first of all, let's get the squall line aspect of this. What about this entire line? Okay, so we're inclusive of everybody as it moves towards the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. We'll go at about 37 miles per hour. So first and foremost, it's pushing through and expected to move through Georgetown at about 9:22. So if you're in Georgetown, you have approximately 3 minutes. You have literally just 3 minutes to seek refuge right now. This tornado is pushing through. For those who speak Spanish, tiene solamente 3 minutos es muy condition muy peligroso ahora mismo. I'm saying to them, this is a very dangerous situation. Si tiene solamente 3 minutos, you only have 3 minutes to seek shelter from this storm as it pushes through. This is not just a severe thunderstorm with 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is a tornado. Es no solamente la tormenta del relámpago, es un tornado. Ahora me dice, sí, tornado. It is a tornado that's pushing through. And please be patient. This is marching literally through Georgetown, our heavily Hispanic community. And it's also getting ready to make its way through Hellendale as well as towards Prime Hook. It's now beginning to narrow its band here, but we're looking for it to hit Belttown at about 9:40. Then Lewis at about 9:44. This is a second cell that's going to hit. Then it'll hit lower, and then following that, it's expected to hit the Wildwood area. Are you getting any reports of any damage right now, Brandon?
I am not yet.
Okay, so if you see any damage, we're not asking you to go outside to take pictures or anything like that, but if you hear of something that we can report, let us know about it. This is a very rapid moving storm as it's pushing through. I'm seeing some cells of great concern right now. The best thing I can do for you now is to just highlight the communities that are immediately under the gun here. So if you're in the Sand Hill community, that's where we are right now. Redden along Highway 113. This is where we're seeing this cell right here for Highway 113, right here from Kings Road, Robbins, Redden, as well as Georgetown. Now it's headed towards Salisbury Switch, Sand Hill, Benham, and towards Harbison. All right, that's where it's headed right now. This is steadily moving at approximately 35 miles per hour. It's a very rapid moving storm because if I put this into motion for you, you can see how quickly it's overtaken the center part of the state and how quickly it's having its way of moving in that direction, providing the opportunity for damage and overtaking our region. Now, one thing I have to be real honest with you, we are located in Milton. And so our studio is located right here. Okay, we're located right here. This is the storm right over there. I'm going to freeze it on the last frame to show you just how far away. This storm is less than a few miles away from us. In fact, this storm is approximately, the center of the storm, the edge of it is approximately just 5 miles away from our studio. Just 5 miles away from our studio. And this is moving towards the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Okay, and so this is the center part of the storm right here. Hold on a second, please. This is the center part of the storm right here.
Hasn't extended until 9:45.
Okay, that's what I thought. It's still extended until 9:45. Tornado warnings in effect until 9:45. I'm seeing something in Milford right now, so I happen to have the Milford camera available. I want to see if we can show that right now to see what's happening with that cell. And then I'm going to change gears so I can stay on the map here and begin to show you what's happening with this system. So here's a live view of what's happening. This is a look at what's happening. This is where we have the same cell that's prompted the tornado warning is now moving throughout the Milford area. The frequent lightning strikes that you see right here is reminiscent of what's happening with that cell. We're seeing wave upon heavy downpours, frequent lightning strikes. All of these are dangerous aspects of this storm, whether it was just a supercell thunderstorm or not. But now we are, of course, concerned with the fact that we have not only a severe thunderstorm warning, but we also have the tornado warning that's in effect here as well. Okay, so with the tornado warning, we're staying in effect until about 9:45. So there it goes. It begins to move across Georgetown right now. I'm going to move this here so we can get a better view of this. So we're going to start doing the tracking of this right here, right now. We're going to go with the front edge here. All right. Tracking wise, we're going to try to go with the squall aspect of this, starting right here where this is located. and then we're going to begin to give the estimation of it as it pulls on towards the northeast at this present time. There we go. So as it begins to push through, we're looking for it to shift over towards the Milton area at about 9:34, then begin to move up towards the Angola Bay area at 9:47, and then begin to march its way through Lewis at about 9:57, then possibly hitting Rehoboth Beach at 10:03. This is different and unique from anything else we've been dealing with here, because we have to take a look at this reflectivity here and take a look at what we are expecting as far as this storm pushing through our region and continuing to slide towards the east pretty steadily at this point. Now, you can see it's already covering the Laurel area, all right? We're going to push this back here to get a better vantage point. Where are we seeing the most trouble spots? So we're seeing more trouble spots over towards Kings Crossroads right here. Once again, this is moving towards the northeast. Towards Ellendale, it's moving towards the northeast. Down towards Milford, we're picking up on dangerous hail that's falling and associated with 60-mile-per-hour winds. And this radar detected tornado is actually, even though we have the cone or the polygon that's tracking towards Lewis, it looks like it's tracking more so towards the northeast. It's turning, it's trying to make a turn to the north, okay? So I understand that the government polygon is saying it's going towards Lewis. I'm changing this because I just see something that they don't, and I'm going with it, all right? The bottom line is this. This is moving more so towards the north. The folks that are in Milton, I'm changing this right now. The folks that are in Milton, I need you to take cover immediately. You might not be within the throngs of this red box where we have the tornado warning, but I'm telling you right now, Anderson Crossroads, Ellendale, Milford, Slaughter Beach, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. That's not the case. The cell that prompted the concern for this tornado is headed for you right now. Take shelter away from the window. This is right along from Ellendale, Anderson Crossroads, Milford, and Slaughter Beach. I understand that what you see on your screen is what's happening with this polygon that's red indicating the tornado warning area. But what I am seeing right now is a immediate turn to the north of this storm. They don't move linear all the time. If you're along Highway 113, Kings Crossroads, Ellendale, Milford, Thompsonville, Slaughter Beach, Prime Hook Beach, and the immediate Milton area, the most intense cell is going to just push through. No, wait a minute. This one cell right here that's moving up towards, you see it's curving up towards Milton right now, okay? And this is moving so fast. In fact, it looks like it's moving faster than just 35 to 40 miles per hour. But what it's doing, it's torquing as it pushes through. And that torquing is giving it an aspect of movement that's allowing for it to push through rather quickly. But we cannot state it enough how quickly this is changing direction. We may get a new polygon from the National Weather Service indicating Cool Springs and Lewis, but they, quite frankly, are not in the path of this. And I would rather use common sense and give you what I see from my years of doing this along Highway 113 up towards Milford and Slaughter Beach, and not just go with the party line. This is what I see. And this is why I believe you folks in Ellendale, Milford, you're feeling it right now. Milton, prepare yourself. You are literally 3 to 4 minutes away from it plowing its way through you. The folks in Sand Hill, I hope you've already taken your rest or taken your cover, because that's how they're beginning to push through. Where we see the darker reds is where I'm tracking. And you'll notice with that, it's moving more so towards the north. You see how it's collapsing? It's pushing through right here. And then as it comes together, it's collapsing and moving and shifting more towards the north. It's not moving in the traditional path that you would typically see with that kind of a situation. And some additional severe thunderstorm warnings are also in effect in our area. I'm going to pull this down here. We have some additional concerns down towards Gumboro, because this is also a wider scope. So now, this entire mass here is where we have the dangerous system here. And for at least the next, let's say, 16 to 17 minutes, we still have this active tornado warning. I'm not saying that the folks in Lewis aren't going to receive a piece of this very dangerous storm that's prompted the latest tornado warning that's in effect until 9:45. But what I am saying is that we're looking at this cell that's torquing more so towards the north than any other direction as far as we are concerned in our immediate area. So consider this. We do have this warning in effect along Highway 9 from Georgetown to Lewis, or Highway 9 where that connection is. I get that. But right now, I'm looking at this cell that's getting ready to march its way right through Milton, and we can hear it right now in our studio. It has a history of at least 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, and this is what's prompted the latest warning. Also, I want you to notice, do you see that formation right here, right along Highway 113 up towards Milford? Milford to Ellendale, Milford to Thompsonville, and Ellendale towards Milton. This is the area where I'm saying, it's this L area that I'm seeing possibly the best opportunity for damage and the most potent or the most heinous aspect of this particular storm system as it pushes through. There's this severe thunderstorm warning and all of these warnings are being prompted by what we see on radar at this present time. And we are basically anticipating that with this will come the dangerous hail that's being indicated with our storm track. I'm going to pull the storm track off for just a quick moment so we can dig into where everything is. Near Sand Hill, okay? Folks near Robbins, that's where we're also seeing this cell that's pushing through. Now we see the tornado warning has been augmented, okay? So as I highlight that right there, that tornado warning is now specific for flying debris could be dangerous with this at 9:30. This is a tornado was located near Lewis or 9 miles east of Georgetown, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. If that be the case, and this is the updated view of this, so it's saying this is possibly the cell we're looking at, and we're keeping a close eye on what's happening up towards Anderson Crossroads and just south of Ellendale along Highway 113. But if that be the case, then the most important thing that I want to do to show you what's going on with this storm is where do we have the highest potential for these storms to cause more concerns and problems. This is moving to the northeast very rapidly right here. We see it moving, and we see the latest tracking indicating near Benham, 9:32, then pushing through Cool Springs at 9:38. 10 minutes later, that's when we're expecting for the Lewis community to receive at least the front wave or the first wave of this storm that's prompted the latest tornado warning in our area. Then it began to push through Cape May at 10:14. Following that, Wildwood at 10:23. Erasing this tracking out of the way, then we want to take this from a squall line aspect. In other words, this entire wall of concern that we would have here. And this is also making its way through places like Slaughter Beach, okay? Now, the key here is that with Slaughter Beach and Lewis, we're still seeing the isolated cells are moving more so towards the north, but this entire movement or this entire squall line is continuing to surge toward the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Two things you got to remember. The cells can still shoot to the north while the entire wall can move as a collective towards the east at about 35 miles per hour. We have a mixture of both happening. So initially we had a much larger zone that was under the tornado warning. Now it's been condensed along Highway 9, even though we've had a lot of these cells that are shooting along Highway 113. We're expecting for it to hit the Lewis community at 9:47 and then lower at 10:14. As we continue to take a look at our tracking of this storm system, I'm going to change gears and take a look and see if we have any flying debris. Now this is unique. If I find anything blue, let me show you what I'm looking at so I can illustrate you what I'm looking for. Okay, you see the top, debris is on the left, blue, no debris, red is on the right. So right now we're looking diagnostically at, is there any debris that's being picked up by this storm system? Right now we're not seeing any flying debris, which is good, but we still have a radar indicated storm at this present time. And we still are under a tornado warning for right now. Now, this is Milton. You can hear what's happening in Milton right now. This is what's happening for the folks that are in Milton. We are literally right next to the more intense part of this storm right here, the darker red that you see here. In the simplest terms, we are in the midst, or we're literally within the jaws of this storm that's pushing through. And you see how that marker moved very quickly over Milton and towards the northeast? That's because this system is creating the hail that we're hearing right now. Now, a couple of other communities we haven't talked about too often, but still is a part of the path of this is the drawbridge community. Now we're starting to see this shift a little more towards the east right now. So look for it to hit the drawbridge community within the next 5 to 6 minutes. Then following that, it's likely to begin to brush across the folks that are in Green Hill. But please keep in mind the folks that are in Benham, Cool Springs, Belttown, you're still within the path of great concerns right now with this tornado warning. The overall system is moving about 35 to 40 miles per hour. It's a very rapid mover, frequent lightning strikes associated with it. We have very blustery winds also associated with it. And we're looking at the likelihood of power outages also being a primary concern, particularly for folks that are dependent on electricity so that they can keep their health care together. As we begin to kind of take a look at this from a more progressive standpoint, we're still seeing the heaviest of it right now through Milton. Once again, we can see that growth that's happening. See that growth that's happening inside of that cell, or that shell, pardon me. And it's still approaching us coming in from the west. So folks that are in Slaughter Beach, you're starting to see the conditions change over, all right, very quickly in your neck of the woods. Folks in Anderson Crossroads, hopefully you've taken cover. Same holds true for the folks in Ellendale, Milford, Redden, and Georgetown. We still have heavy downpours on the cross section between 113 and Highway 9 in downtown Georgetown. But as far as the cluster that we're most concerned with, the most volatile weather right now, the folks at Broad Hill Beach, Lewis, Gosling Mill, and along Highway 9. This is actually passing by Milton, and from what I'm seeing, it's losing a bit of its strength, which is hopefully a good thing, but we still have this active area here in Lewis. The folks in Lewis, ironically, have yet to experience this frontal assault of the storm that's pushing its way towards the northeast at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. But with it, you're going to see a dramatic changeover with the winds. Okay, we've already seen the swirling clouds throughout the night, and we've been talking to you on our app on a continuous basis with these severe thunderstorms that they push through. The thing you have to continue to keep in mind is that these storms can teeter between severe thunderstorms and tornadic activity, or possible tornadic activity spotted by radar, with a breath's hair of difference or effort. And you also have to combine the fact that because we've been sitting on top of temperatures in the 80s, mid to upper 80s throughout the day, but more importantly and more telling, we've been dealing with the dew point temperatures in the 70s. If you remember during our newscast, I've been talking over and over again about the volatility of the atmosphere, that it's like a gigantic, juicy sponge waiting to be squeezed at any moment for something to occur in the form of rain showers, but also possible with tornadic activity. Well, that's what's happening right now, and we're starting to see this develop here towards Broad Hill Beach. I see something that we need to highlight here real quick. So I'm gonna freeze it real quick for a moment. I see something that I'm concerned about right here, okay? Let me take this marker off here. Okay, so anybody that's in the Waples community, I'm firmly believing that you are dealing with the worst part of the storm right now. If you are in Waples and you're under the sound of my voice, I need you to take cover on the lowest level of your home. I need for you to get away from the windows. I need for you to just seek shelter in the lowest level of your home, in the center of your home, away from the windows and away from all outer walls, because it looks like you are literally in the midst of the strongest aspect of the storm. Now, mind you, we still have the active tornado warning in effect. In fact, as I highlighted again, we're looking at it's moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So the latest tracking that we can look at right now, we're really going to track the entire line right here as it's moving towards the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So it's going to hit Belttown at 9:47, Lewis at 9:50, North Cape May at 10:11, Lower at 10:15, and North Wildwood at 10:27. But in addition to that, now I'm looking at one particular cell of concern here. That's this one right here. So bottom line is this. I foresee this cell moving towards Broad Hill Beach as well as Prime Hook Beach and moving in this direction. So any area between Waples and Prime Hook Beach or Broad Hill Beach, that's where I'm looking at the strongest part of this cell right now as it's moving and morphing along our immediate area. So now the warning has been augmented a little bit more to include oyster rocks, okay? And we have this is changing the aspect of our warnings here for Oyster Rock as well as Belttown, Mill Pond Acres, Gosling Mill. The folks that are in Milton are dealing with heavy downpours. Folks coming out of Reynolds Mill, as I put this back into motion so you can see the movement of it. And you can also pick up on the fact that our coverage area for the tornado warning has been condensed even more so towards Mill Pond Acres and Lewis. So now, instead of shooting the cells to the north, the entire system, the squall line that I explained to you a little bit earlier, now that one is making its track over towards the Lewis area. So we're going to start seeing the driving conditions begin to tank very quickly going towards Mill Pond Acres and then towards Lewis. The folks that are in Reynolds Mill, I think this is actually the strongest part of the cell as it's pushing through, and it's headed straight for Broadkill Beach. If you're in the Broadkill Beach area, it's 9:40 right now. I would say by 9:43, 9:44, that's when you'll start feeling the waves of the rain, which you can see delineated with this green gradient right here, indicating heavier rain showers as you get a little closer to the actual more intense cell here, which is highlighted with the dark red. But this is going to track, in other words, the dangerous part of it, the most dangerous part, this red, will begin to track towards Broadkill Beach here within the next 4 minutes or so. As that occurs, we're going to be looking at the possibility of power outages, damage, structural damage that'll be associated with this. And we're looking at downpours that have become so sudden so quickly that flash flooding is a primary concern for the folks along some of the side roads especially. Not so much Highway 9 or 113 or 13. But a lot of the other side roads that are out in the rural areas, that's where we could see some significant puddling that can occur in a very short period of time. Should not be even outside right now anyway. But as we continue to track this coming off of Reynolds Mill towards Broadkill Beach, this is going to continue to track its way towards the east. And there's really not much in the way of room on where it can go, because no matter which way it turns, it's now overtaking Broadkill Beach right now. So there we go. Now we see the worst of it right now over Broadkill Beach and Oyster Rocks. That's where it is right now. That's where we're freezing it at this present time. Prime Hook Beach, right now, you're under the thumb of the strongest aspect of this storm that's prompted the latest tornado warning. Broadkill Beach, you have a secondary storm right here. There is a possibility that we have two different isolated spin-ups that could be occurring at this present time. And then Drawbridge to Oyster Rocks, we're looking at walls of rain and blind spots that are literally inundating you in such a way that we are likely to see some flash flooding to occur associated with this. But Prime Hook Beach right now, you are literally underneath the primary attack by the strongest part of the storm. Following that, the folks at Broadkill Beach, you are also underneath the strongest aspect of this storm as it pushes through. And we still see heavy downpours near Waples as well as Drawbridge in those areas. Did you have anything that you see? Go ahead.
Looking at Del.'s Prime Hook camera, all lights are out in Prime Hook.
All links are out?
There has been preliminary reports of lightning strikes causing fires in Salisbury.
Okay.
And a viewer asked about Millsboro and Long Neck. I know it's kind of out of the direct.
No problem with that. So when you take a look, you're talking about lightning strikes, we can show you the lightning strikes here. In fact, they're so numerous, it's so dense. You see what I'm saying right here? So the lightning strikes are so dense we can't even show them without it being a convoluted picture. That's just how significant the lightning outpouring from the supercell thunderstorms and tornadic forming storms have become at this particular juncture. And in addition to that, for the folks that are in Prime Hook Beach, let's change gears here and see what's going on with this from a reflectivity standpoint. Okay, freeze this on the last frame. Okay, so when we take a look at this storm, let's dissect what's happening with this from a three-dimensional standpoint. You know, how strong or how tall are these storms as they're pushing through? We're seeing right now, to be quite honest, they're not all that impressive as far as height development is concerned. But we are looking at 30,000 feet associated with this. And this is a three-dimensional slice, and it's like taking a cake or allowing for you to take the storm and slicing in the middle of it of a cake. Now, what we see that is impressive, this area of red right here, we're looking at a core that's a significant rain-producing core. Ironically enough, that could allow for this to begin to kind of kill itself a little quicker so it doesn't develop into a taller cell. See, if it was up to 40 or 50,000 feet, then we would have a significantly stronger storm that would prompt even greater concerns for tornadic activity. But right now, because we're looking at this more of a latitude type of a thing, or a width type of a situation here, as this is slicing through, with it only reaching up to 20,000, barely reaching up to 30,000 feet, we have a better opportunity for it to perhaps go on by without causing the least amount of damage that it could possibly cause at this point. Here's a wider view of what's happening here, and you can see how it's beginning to approach and overtake the immediate Lewis area. Lewis is still under the tornado warning at this present time. We can see how quickly it's moving across portions of across portions of central and eastern portions of Sussex County. But now this has been allowed to expire. So now the tornado warning over Sussex County has now been allowed to expire at 9:45. We are, I'm going to widen the scope, make sure I'm checking everything else, make sure we have everything else taken care of and accounted for. Okay, so this is going to continue to march right off to the water. Now, stay tuned. We'll continue to crawl helpful information at the bottom of our screen, and be sure you follow us on our app as we continue to update you on this storm system. I'm Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams for Coast TV. We now return to our regularly scheduled programming.